Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of the Hockey Talk with TG podcast. I'm Ty Glenn. Hope you guys are having a great day. So in today's episode of the Hockey Talk with TG podcast, we'll talk about Alex Ovechkin scoring goal number 887 in the Capitals' 5-1 win over the San Jose Sharks. We'll get into Connor Bedard's frustrations as he was given back-to-back 10-minute game misconducts and what the Blackhawks need to do going forward. Talk about Mikko Rantanen's return to Colorado. All that and more in today's episode of Hockey Talk with TG Podcast. So make sure that you stay tuned in to the end. But before we go ahead and get started, make sure that you're following the Hockey Talk with TG Podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, and subscribe to the YouTube channel. We're with you every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday from 11:30 a.m. to noon Central Time, 12:30 p.m. to 1 p.m. Eastern Time. There was no episode on Friday, though, so apologies for that. But we are back with another episode for today. And also, before we go ahead and get started, just want to remind you guys, make sure that you get your copies of my book, So Rising Up, A Young Player's Journey to the NHL, and then Slapshot Struggles, the story of our middle school hockey team. So I wrote both of these hockey books. This one is for all ages, and this one is, of course, for little kids. If you're listening to audio, the Rising Ups book is for all ages, and the Slapshot story, the Slapshot struggles, story of our middle school hockey team. This one is for middle school kids, obviously, and under, but adults can still read it too. I am working on a new hockey book to write for you guys, so make sure you stay tuned for that. I will put both of these books that I'm showing you right now, if you're watching this on YouTube, in the description below. I'll also put it in the Spotify, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio description if you're listening to this episode on audio form. So yeah, get your copies of Rising Up, A Young Player's Journey to the NHL, and Slapshot Struggles, Story of Our Middle School Hockey Team. You can get those books today. It is out on Amazon for you to get. And that's something that I did not clarify when I first told you guys about this, but it is out on Amazon for you to get. Make sure to get your copy today. And like I said, I am working on another hockey book for you guys as well. So make sure you stay tuned in for that. But without further ado, we are going to go ahead and get right into the NHL news for today. So Alex Ovechkin, he scores goal number 887 in the Capitals' 5-1 win over the San Jose Sharks on Saturday. He is now 8 goals away from breaking Wayne Gretzky's all-time NHL goal record of 894 goals. He also picked up an assist on Saturday. He assisted on Dylan Strome's goal for a 2-point night. And fun fact, in case you didn't know, the goal that was scored on San Jose's goaltender, Georgi Momolioff, hopefully I pronounced that name right, marked the 182nd different goaltender Alex Ovechkin has scored on. And we've seen him score a lot of goals on a lot of different NHL goaltenders. But now Georgi Momolioff is added to that list. And this goal that he scored on Saturday brought his season tally to 34 goals. So he's now up to 34 goals this season. We'd like to see him get a 40-goal season, which will, help him break the record before the season's over with. And he'll need at least 42 goals. Like I said, 40. He's up to 34 goals, 8 away from breaking it. Simple math. Needs 42 goals this season to break the record. 6 goals away from scoring 40, but he needs 42 goals to break that record. So hopefully you get to see him break it. And he's projected to break the goal record on April 4th when the Washington Capitals take on my Chicago Blackhawks, which, like I said off air, well, you didn't hear me say this because I said it off air. I said off air that as a Blackhawks fan, I wouldn't mind seeing Alex Ovechkin break the goal record against us. He did score his 800th career goal against us, but I would love to see him break the goal record against us as a Blackhawks fan. But we could also see Alex Ovechkin break the goal record. If it doesn't happen in that game, we could see Alex Ovechkin break the goal record on April 12th when when the Capitals are in Columbus to take on the Columbus Blue Jackets on April the 12th. We could also see him break it in Pittsburgh, which is on April 17th, which is the Blackhawks. Why do I keep saying Blackhawks? Which is the Capitals' last game of the season against the Penguins. So Alex Ovechkin versus Sidney Crosby. April 17th, Capitals versus Penguins. We'd love to see Alex Ovechkin break the goal record in that game. Capitals' next game is tomorrow, this Tuesday, against the Detroit Red Wings, which will be the start of a 3-game homestand for the Capitals. And before we made it to this game, we thought this was the game that we all thought we would see Ovi break the goal record. But of course, during the Capitals' Western California road trip, Ovi did not score a goal in Anaheim, and of course the Capitals were shut out by the LA Kings. Didn't see the goal in there. So been kind of a little bit going slow, but he got a goal in Saturday's game against San Jose, and he's now 8 goals away from passing Wayne Gretzky on the NHL's all-time goal scoring list. And this was a charity cancer thing that Alex Ovechkin did. So as Alex Ovechkin approaches the goal record, as he moves closer and closer up to the goal record, he has partnered with Hockey Fights Cancer and the V Foundation for Cancer Research to launch the Great 8 Chase for Victory Over Cancer, which pledges donations corresponding to his career goal for each goal he scores moving forward. So I thought that was a nice gesture, nice thing for Alex Ovechkin to do. And like everybody else, even if you're an avid hockey fan that tunes into hockey every now and then but doesn't really like hockey, like it, but you just a casual fan, I think that's a better word to put it. If you're a casual fan that tunes into hockey every now and then, like you're not really into it, like I am, but you're just like, okay, I'm liking hockey. I'm pretty sure you guys would like to see Alex Ovechkin break the goal record as well. So the Capitals, like I said, their next game is March 18th, this Tuesday, tomorrow, against the Detroit Red Wings. Hopefully we get to see Alex Ovechkin score a goal in that game. Because I feel like for Capitals games, I said this off air, I feel like every time when the Washington Capitals play, I'm always tuning in because I want to see Alex Ovechkin break that goal record so bad. Because not only will it be a moment in hockey history, but it will be a moment in sports history in general. So like every Capitals game, every Capitals game that, really comes on, I'm tuning into it because I want to see Alex Ovechkin break that goal record. So that's why I said off air. I'm hoping he breaks it before the season is over with. And of course, he's going to be playing the 2025-26 NHL season as well. But it will be nice to do it before this season is over with. All right, now we're going to go ahead and discuss Mikko Rantanen's return to Colorado. So, of course, his return to Colorado didn't go as expected as the Dallas Stars fall short in this one, losing 4-3 in overtime. Before we get right into it, I'm going to take a sip of water. So, of course, Mikko Rantanen's return to Colorado didn't go as planned. Dallas Stars fall short to the Colorado Avalanche, losing 4-3 in overtime on Sunday. But on the bright side, Mikko Rantanen picked up an assist in the game. He assisted on Jason Robinson's goal, which P.S. that was a great passing play for the Dallas Stars to set up the goal in that game for Jason Robinson. He also logged in 17 minutes and 15 seconds of time on ice, 2 shots on goal, and 1 hit in the game. Mikko Rantanen, of course, spent his first 10 NHL seasons with the Colorado Avalanche, 581 points and 619 games played, 287 goals, 394 assists for 581 points and 619 games played. He's also a Stanley Cup champion with the Colorado Avalanche. So, of course, that was in 2022. And, of course, Mikko Rantanen was traded to Carolina on January 24th, so he was involved in that three-way trade that sent Marty Necas and Jack Drury to the Colorado Avalanche, Taylor Hall from the Chicago Blackhawks to the Carolina Hurricanes. And, of course, the Blackhawks retained 50% of Mikko Rantanen's salary in that trade. So, so he was involved in that three-way trade, and then the Hurricanes traded him to the Dallas Stars on March 7th, which I did hear this. I did not discuss this on the Hockey Talk TG podcast, but I did hear this on NHL Network. When Mikko Rantanen went to Carolina, or at least this is what he said to Carolina. He said, if I were to get traded, I don't know if he said exactly this, but I'm going to paraphrase what he said. So, just paraphrasing this. So, he said when he got to Carolina, if I was going to get traded, I would play for 3 teams, and you are not one of them. So, he did not want to play for Carolina. Carolina wasn't the team that he was looking forward to playing for when, he got traded there. So, therefore, Carolina Hurricanes saying, okay, you don't want to play for us, that's cool. I'm going to send you back. We're going to trade you at the deadline. You're not having the best time in Carolina. And so they traded him to the Dallas Stars. And I know a lot of people have been saying that they really want to see a Dallas Stars and Colorado Avalanche series in the first round of the Stanley Cup playoffs. And gotta agree with that, because it would be great to see Mikko Rantanen going up against his former team, former squad in the Colorado Avalanche round 1 Stanley Cup playoffs. Let's go. I think that'll be an intriguing first round matchup right there if it were to happen. So, but hopefully it does happen. But the Dallas Stars lost 3 of their last 4 games, but on the bright, they lost 2 in a row, lost 3 of the last 4, but on the bright side, they're 6-3-1 in their last 10 games, and they moved to 42-21-3 of the season. Roope Hintz, he returned back to the lineup for the Dallas Stars. He missed the past 2 games after taking a puck to the face in the Stars' 5-4 loss to the Edmonton Oilers on March 8th. He also had an assist and a +1- in the game. He assisted on Jason Robinson's goal. Logged in 17 minutes and 34 seconds of ice time. No shots, but he did get 1 block in the game. And Maverick Bourque and Matt Duchene also scored for Dallas. And Jake Ottinger made 33 saves. But for the Colorado Avalanche, of course, Cale Makar. I love watching Cale Makar. It's one of my favorite NHL players to watch, despite me not playing defense in hockey. Because I usually play forward in hockey. I don't play defense. But I do like watching Cale Makar. I always say he's the Connor McDavid on defense. But Cale Makar scored 34 seconds into overtime to win this game for the Colorado Avalanche. He also had 2 assists in the game for a 3-point night, and he assisted on Marty Necas' power play goal and Valerie Nichushkin's goal. And the Colorado Avalanche moved to 41-24-3 of the season. They won 8 of their last 9 games, but before they dropped the puck, they gave a little tribute to Nathan MacKinnon. He was honored for 1,000 career points. He had his family come out. We even seen Gabriel Landeskog came out, which I don't know if Gabriel Landeskog is going to wear the Avalanche sweater again or, just play for the NHL in general, because the last game that Gabriel Landeskog played was Game 6 of the 2022 Stanley Cup Final when the Avalanche won the Stanley Cup against the Tampa Bay Lightning. That was his last game he played. I don't know if he's going to play in the NHL again, because it's been 3 years, like 2-3 years, because the game was on June 26th of 2022. So, been 2-3 years since he last played a game for the Avalanche. So, And of course, he's had surgery, which I don't think a surgery usually takes that long. So I'm like at this point, I'd rather just say hang up the skates because it just feels like you're not going to return. It's been like 2-3 years since you last played. At this point, I just hang up the skates. But taking a look at Nathan MacKinnon's career so far, like I said, on him for 1,000 career points. He had 1,001 points in 858 games played for Colorado, 362 goals, 639 assists for 1,001 points in 858 games played. And take a look at his accolades. He's a 2014 Calder Trophy winner. He is a 2020 Lady Byng Memorial Trophy winner. He's a 2022 Stanley Cup champion with the Colorado Avalanche. He's a 2024 Hart Memorial Trophy and Ted Lindsay Award winner. Only 29 years old. He's been there, done that. And no doubt in mind that Nate Mack will be a Hockey Hall of Famer when it's all said and done. And like I said, Valley Nichushkin, he also scored a goal. Jonathan Drouin scored a goal for Colorado. Scott Wedgwood made 19 saves, so he was terrific in this game again for the Blackhawks game last Monday. I think this was last Monday. Scott Wedgwood made some crazy, unreal saves in that game to shut out the Blackhawks 3-0. So he had a 21 save shutout in that game against the Blackhawks. Made some, like I said, unreal saves. Made a great save on Connor Bedard in that game. And made another great save on Nick Foligno. So he was just spectacular in that one. And he was spectacular in this game as well. But overall thoughts on Mikko Rantanen's return. I think he had a solid return. It wasn't that bad. At least he picked up a point in this one, and that's all that matters. Would love to see him score a goal against his former team, though. But he did get a point, which was an assist. So I feel like he had, a solid game for sure. And of course, he has not played at home yet in Dallas, but he's going to get a chance to on Tuesday when the Dallas Stars start a 4-game homestand at home against the Anaheim Ducks on Tuesday at 7 o'clock p.m. Central Time. So, of course, Dallas Stars fans will be on their feet for Mikko Rantanen for sure. And also for Mikko Rantanen, they did play a tribute on the Stars and Avalanche first commercial break. They did play a tribute for Mikko Rantanen. Both teams honored him. Dallas Stars applauded for him. Colorado Avalanche, of course, they applauded for him, and the Avalanche fans were cheering on as well. So, yeah, just a great tribute for Mikko Rantanen. Of course, it feels weird seeing him in another jersey because we're used to seeing Mikko Rantanen play for the Colorado Avalanche. But, hey, kind of knew it was coming, going to get traded. Got an 8-year, $1 million contract deal he signed, so the Dallas Stars got him. I don't know if he signed with the Stars, though, but, of course, he's going to be with the Stars for a while, that's for sure. The Avalanche, they start a 3-game Eastern Canada road trip against the Toronto Maple Leafs Wednesday at 6 o'clock p.m. Central Time. That'll be another TNT game for the Colorado Avalanche when they take on Austin Matthews in the Toronto Maple Leafs. So McKinnon versus Matthews should be a great matchup. So we'll see what happens in that game. All right, now we got to talk about the Connor Bedard back-to-back 10-minute game misconduct. So, of course, I did do an article about this on Blackhawk Up when Connor Bedard was assessed a 10-minute game misconduct in the game against San Jose, but this could also apply to the game in Vancouver, but mostly I did it on the game against San Jose. So I will put that in the description for you guys to check that out. It's on Fansided's Blackhawk Up page. I basically broke down the 10-minute game misconduct, did a little bit of analyzing, in-depth analysis right there, and I asked the big question, was the Connor Bedard 10-minute game misconduct called for? Like, was it really called for? So, because I thought it was a stupid penalty in the game against San Jose, And, of course, in Vancouver, it didn't need to happen as well. So, we're going to break that down. So, make sure you stay tuned for that. So, of course, in the game against San Jose, Connor Bedard, he was tripped up by Sharks defenseman Mario Ferraro without a penalty call. He was frustrated. And then he went to the bench, exchanged words with referee Chris Bruni from the bench, and then I don't know what was said. We couldn't hear what was said between Connor Bedard and Chris Bruni. And then moments later, Chris Bruni's like, okay, you're out of here. Well, not out of here. They basically just escorted Connor Bedard to the penalty box for a 10-minute game. It's kind of with 10:50 left to go in the third for the Blackhawks game against the Sharks. He did not touch the ice until 50 seconds of regulation. I think Tyler Toffoli scored an empty net goal in that game to make it 4-2 Sharks. And then that's when Connor Bedard came out on the ice. And like I said, don't know what was being said between the two. But according to the Blackhawks post-game show on WGN Radio and the Blackhawks Breakaway podcast, Charlie Remoliolis, he was saying that Chris Bruni was talking to Nick Foligno, and he held up the number 2 sign saying that's 2 times that Connor Bedard was going at it with the officials, and that's probably the reason why he got sent to the penalty box. That's what I heard from Charlie Remoliolis. Of course, he's the Blackhawks radio host and reporter for the Chicago Blackhawks. He does WGN radio for the Blackhawks. So that's what he said on his radio show. And on the Blackhawks Breakaway podcast he does with Pat Boyle. And, of course, I listened to the post-game interview with Connor Bedard when he was asked about the penalty. And, quote-unquote, he said that he didn't think his comments were, quote-unquote, too crazy for the officials. But he did also say that's the referee. I mean, that's his job. Got to make the calls. But he also said that he needed to be careful. That he needed to be, quote-unquote, smart with his words. So that's what he said in the interview as well. Now we go 2 days later to the game in Vancouver, his hometown. He grew up cheering for the Vancouver Canucks. The Vancouver Canucks were his favorite team. And, of course, in this game was worse than his last game. And, of course, following a hit by Blackhawks center Jason Dickinson on Canucks Felicito, which Felicito had to leave the game because he had a concussion and he did not return for the final 2 minutes of that game. And he did not play in Sunday's game against Utah because he had a concussion. And then, so after that, Jason Dickinson hit on Felicito. Bedard was tangled up with a few Canucks players. And then Connor Bedard, along with his teammate Frank Nazar, and then Canucks players Philip Hronek and Connor Garland, they all received 10-minute game misconducts. And, of course, if you didn't see the video from Connor Bedard, it's on Twitter. I think the Blackhawks CHSN page posted it. Charlie Remoliolis posted it. And they showed a clip of Connor Bedard walking down the tunnel, and he threw his helmet while exiting to the locker room. And he was livid. He was livid after the call. And like I said, this is nothing new. I said this off air. This is nothing new. We've seen Connor Bedard act this way in games before when the referees don't make the right calls. This is nothing new. We've seen this from Connor Bedard before. This isn't the first game that he's acted up like this. And the Blackhawks in general, they got to do better. They got to play with that ruthless aggression. Because over these past few games, they have not been playing that. Their defense, soft. Special teams, soft. Offense, soft. Not generating enough. Not defending well. And I said this off air. The excuses for saying we're a rebuild team is over with. Like, yes, I know you're in a rebuild. Everybody knows that you're in a rebuild. But the excuses for saying that we're losing because we're a rebuild team, we're trying to make it happen. No, all that crap is over with. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, but all that crap, all those excuses over it. I mean, you think after trading away Seth Jones, you get Spencer Knight, You get a solid player in Joe Veleno. You trade away Craig Smith and Peter Mrazek. You think this team will start trending in the right direction. Probably being a little bit better after the trade deadline, but it's more the same result. And I know Blackhawks fans are tired. They don't really want to hear this. But Seth Jones, when he said, we've been the same team since game one, we haven't made any strides whatsoever to play a more simple, better hockey game. He said that in the Blackhawks 2-1 loss to Utah Hockey Club on February 25th. He was right. And as much as I think, and Blackhawks fans in general think, that Seth Jones was the main reason for why the Blackhawks are where they are, why the Blackhawks have been performing well, as much as I think, along with other Blackhawks fans think, that Seth Jones was the main problem, he was right. He was right. The Blackhawks have been the same team since game one. They haven't gotten better. And something needs to change. Overall, that needs to change on the road. Because looking at the Blackhawks record on the road, it has not been that nice. They play great at home. They don't play great on the road. So that's what's going to have to change. You're going to have to play better on the road. And next season, I expect the Blackhawks to be better. I expect them to be better next season. And I was listening to the CHGO Blackhawks podcast post-game where the Blackhawks lost 6-2 to the Canucks. I was listening to them saying that the Blackhawks need to go out and find a coach who knows how to win, knows what it takes, has been there, done that. They need to make it count. And I totally agree with that. Because Arne Sorensen isn't the coach for the Chicago Blackhawks in the future. And I'm going to drink a little sip of water. So excuse me for a second. Arne Sorensen isn't the coach that the Blackhawks need. The Blackhawks need a Jay Woodcroft. I don't know how you pronounce it. I don't know if it's Woodcroft or Woodcraft. They need a Gerard Garant. They need a John Cooper. They need a coach who knows how to win. They need a coach who knows how to win. Arne Sorensen is not the guy for the Blackhawks. But overall, this team absolutely needs to change. And there's been a lot of the negative stuff I said about them off air. But in general, there's the excuses for saying that we are a rebuild team is over. I don't want to hear that crap anymore. I'm sorry. I don't want to hear it. Because, yes, we know you're a rebuilding team. Yes, we know that you're struggling. But you're also a young team. And for a young team, you expect the young players to have more energy than the veterans. And that hasn't been the case. This team hasn't defended well. And what I want to see heading into next season, I want to see guys hard checking into the boards. I want to see guys forward checking on the play. I want to see the Blackhawks maintain pressure in the O-zone. I want to see the Blackhawks have pressure in the O-zone against their opponents. I want to see the Blackhawks defend well in their O-zone. I want to see that. I need to see more hustle. I need to see that ruthless aggression. It's hockey. It's not soccer. It's not basketball. It's hockey, point blank and period. So that's what I need to see from the Blackhawks going forward into next season. I need to see that ruthless aggression. And that's something that John Cena is always known for, especially when he started in WWE. And the Blackhawks need to apply that ruthless aggression. That is all. But let me know what you guys think on that. Of course, obviously, like I said, tough year for the Blackhawks. But like I said, something's going to have to change, and you can't throw in the classic excuse for saying we are a rebuilding team. We all know that you're a rebuilding team. But you want to progress forward. Yes, it's going to hurt for a while, but you want to be able to move up forward as the rebuild goes. You can't just say that you're a rebuilding team and that's why you're losing. No, you're a rebuilding team, okay, but I want to see some progression going forward. We have not seen that progression from the Blackhawks. Which leads me into my next topic. Should the Blackhawks bring back Patrick Kane to be captain of the team and to help out Connor Bedard? Now, I said this off air. I thought about doing an article for this on Blackhawk Up, so I'll just tell you guys a little bit of the details. I'm not going to tell you all of it because, like I said, I thought about doing this for Blackhawk Up, and I'll tell you guys all on there. Taking a look at Patrick Kay's contract. He's on a $4 million contract deal with Detroit Red Wings, which is set to expire after the season, and he'll be a unrestricted free agent. Taking a look at Nick Foligno's contract. He has a $4.5 million contract expiring after the 2025-26 season. He's currently the captain for the Chicago Blackhawks, but not the captain the Blackhawks need. He's not the captain the Blackhawks need. I think the Blackhawks need a captain who's been on the lowest of lows to the highest of highs, lowest of lows, highest of highs, who's been there, done that, reached to the mountaintop, and has done this before. And I believe Patrick Kane is that fit. I know the Blackhawks said before that they weren't going to bring back Patrick Kane. However, they need to bring back Patrick Kane because we need to see a veteran player helping out Connor Bedard, and I believe Patrick Kane is that veteran player. Like Connor Bedard, he struggled in his first 2, maybe 3 seasons in the NHL before the Blackhawks broke their 43-44 year drought of winning the Stanley Cup in 2010 against the Philadelphia Flyers. Patrick Kane struggled through his first 2-3 seasons in the NHL, just like Connor Bedard is struggling through his first 2 seasons of the NHL. And like Connor Bedard, Patrick Kane is a first overall pick. First overall pick for the Chicago Blackhawks. He's a 3-time Stanley Cup champion, as we all know. Won the Stanley Cup to Blackhawks in 2010, 2013, 2015. I believe he can bring some of that leadership quality and skills to benefit Connor Bedard. So that's what I think on that. I'm not going to get into it too much because I want you guys to check out the article I'm going to put out on Blackhawk Up. I'm going to be writing an article for that. Despite the Blackhawks saying that they're not going to bring back Patrick Kane, I think they need to bring back Patrick Kane just to help out Connor Bedard. And, Connor Bedard can benefit well from Patrick Kane. And, of course, I would have said Jonathan Tage, but Jonathan Tage has said himself that he wasn't going to play for the Blackhawks and if he returns to the NHL, which he's working on return. He's resumed skating. I talked about this in last week's episode of the Hockey Talk with TG podcast. He's resumed skating. He's training to come back in the NHL. Says that he still has a lot in the tank left for him. Lot left in the tank in him. And so he's working to that NHL return, but the Blackhawks will not be one of the teams that he plays for. And I know the Blackhawks said themselves that they weren't going to bring back Patrick Kane and weren't going to bring back Jonathan Tage. Not going to bring back Jonathan Tage, fine. But at least bring back Patrick Kane because Connor Bedard needs help. He needs that veteran guidance. I don't think Nick Foligno is the captain to do it. I think the Blackhawks need to bring back Patrick Kane and trade away Nick Foligno. All right, NHL games on the slate for today. So there's only 5 games on the slate. We got the Buffalo Sabres in Beantown taking on the Boston Bruins at 6 o'clock p.m. Central Time. I don't know where the Bruins go from here after trading away their captain and longtime player for the Boston Bruins, Brad Marchand. I don't know where they go from here, but obviously not a playoff team. And I wonder what next season is going to look like without Brad Marchand. But anyway, this is the third of 4 meetings this season between the two teams. The home team has won the first 2 meets. The Bruins won 3-1 at TD Garden on December 21st, and the Sabres won 7-2 at KeyBank Center on January 28th. Final meeting of the season is on April 6th in Buffalo. And then we got the Philadelphia Flyers taking on the Tampa Bay Lightning at 6 o'clock p.m. Central Time. These two teams played recently in Philadelphia, where the Flyers won 4-3 in the shootout on March 13th. They also won 2-1 in the shootout in Tampa on November 7th. So the Flyers won the first 2 meetings, both in shootouts. This is the last meeting of the season between the two teams. And then we got the New Jersey Devils taking on the Columbus Blue Jackets. Another set of 2 teams that played each other recently. They played each other last week in Newark, where the Devils won 5-3 against the Columbus Blue Jackets. But the Blue Jackets, before losing to the Devils from that game, they beat the Devils this season at home in Columbus, winning 4-2. And this is the last meeting of the season between the two teams. Then we got the Calgary Flames taking on the Toronto Maple Leafs at 6:30 p.m. Central Time. This game will be on Amazon Prime. Last meeting of the season between the two teams. The Maple Leafs won 6-3 in Calgary on February the 4th. And then the last game of the night for the 5-game slate for today, got the LA Kings taking on the Minnesota Wild at 7 o'clock p.m. Central Time. Last meeting of the season between the two teams. The Kings have won the first two meets. They won 5-1 in St. Paul on November 5th, and they won 4-1 in LA at Crypto.com Arena on December 7th. All right, guys, that is going to do it for this episode of the Hockey Talk with TG podcast. Thank you guys for tuning in as always. Like I said, make sure that you're following the Hockey Talk with TG podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and iHeartRadio. Make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel. And like I said, make sure you get your copies of my books, Rising Up, A Young Player's Journey to the NHL, and Slapshot Struggles, the story of our middle school hockey team. I'm currently working on another hockey book to write for you guys, so make sure you stay tuned in for that. But in the meantime, get your copies of these two books. Both of these books are on Amazon. I will put the link in the description for you guys to check out. So make sure you check out the link. Get your copies of these two books today. Both of you guys have a great rest of your day. God first as always. Be blessed. I'll see you guys Wednesday for another episode of the Hockey Talk with TG podcast. Take care.